we've got Jess, who's standing right there. Now, Jess is kind of like a veteran in marketing, and in Melbourne, she, I mean, you can be humble, but seriously.
Well, I just don't want to appear that old. Am I old enough to be considered a veteran?
Well, I mean, in marketing, you don't have to be that old, right? Because you really start from early ages and really grow because the industry is so new. So, but she is, you know, really has dabbled into a lot of the areas of marketing. So, you know, if you want to get technical, really a T-shaped marketer with a wide range of knowledge in content marketing, with her background in the urban list, and now in B2B space with Sidekicker, which is experiencing amazing growth, and she's going to tell you all about it. But I'm not gonna spend too much time because I know you're going to do a much better job explaining Sidekicker and what you do. But please help me welcome Jess.
Awesome, thank you. Awesome. Hi guys, thanks for coming. Just like to set the scene, I wouldn't mind getting a show of hands. First of all, who knows what Sidekicker is? Okay, pretty good, pretty good. And who here is in marketing? Okay, cool, because I'm going to get really deep into the sales and marketing funnel. So that being said, please interrupt at any stage with any questions. Yeah, very good. But yeah, I'm going to get quite deep, quite technical into kind of sales and marketing funnel. So please, like if there's anything you don't understand, anything you just want clarification on, jump in, interrupt. I'll give a couple of pauses throughout as well, just to answer any questions. And who is operating in a B2B business? Okay, awesome. So, I mean, I'm talking about, I guess, using the sales and marketing funnel that we have at Sidekicker, which our growth at the moment is fully focused on B2B. So I'll get quite specific about B2B, but this does also apply very much to the B2C market as well. Awesome. So just to start, for those of you who don't know, Sidekicker is an on-demand staffing platform. So what that means is we're using technology to essentially disrupt the temp staffing and casual staffing sector. So similar to kind of what Uber did to the transport industry, we're using the technology to make the experience for businesses of hiring and paying hourly and casual workers easier, faster, cheaper through a technology platform. So if you're a business, you need staff quickly, you post a request, you're then matched with all of the available and relevant staff. So we've got now about 11,000 staff working through the platform and about 4,000 businesses. So just to kind of set the scene, Sidekicker was launched in 2012. We had two co-founders based out of Melbourne. As you can see, it took us kind of 4 years getting to 2016 to reach this level of growth. Our North Star metric, i.e. our most important metric that we measure our growth on, is the number of shifts that are completed through the platform each month. As you can see, after 2016, that line, that hockey stick growth has grown exponentially. I might be biased. I've got a member of the operations team sitting over there who might disagree, but I think that is 100% attributed to our sales and marketing funnel. Jane might say it's customer support. But no, so basically we started with our growth team. There were two, yeah, question?
What's the y-axis?
Number of shifts completed each month. So the numbers are around, it took us about 4 years to complete around 8,000 shifts on the platform. And now it took us, 8,000 shifts over 4 years, and now we complete 8,000 shifts on average each month. So that's, yeah, what that growth is. So we started with a growth team in 2016 of only a couple of salespeople. I then came on board with the company, and we've grown out our growth team. There's about 20 people now in the growth team across Australia and New Zealand. I cannot stress to you enough how important building a well-designed sales and marketing funnel is to optimizing your growth team and your growth strategies, whatever they might look like. So just to kind of set the scene about how important building our funnel has been at Sidekicker and how much it's contributed to our growth. So just how I'm going to structure up the presentation, just for those of you who don't necessarily know exactly what a sales and marketing funnel is, just why they exist, what they are, And then I guess how I think that you should look to design your funnel and really set yourself up for success. I'm going to give you a couple of kind of real world insights into some examples of ways that we've optimized our funnel at Sidekicker as well. So why funnels exist? So the kind of top stat, Salesforce, I'm sure you all know what Salesforce is. 73% of leads are not ready to be sold to. What that means, for those of you who don't know, somebody's first engagement with your brand, that person, they may not have the trust, they may not have the need, they may not have the desire to be sold to. So to the second dot point, if you push in front of them a really bold, a really, I guess, action-provoking message at that stage of and frame of mind that they're in, they might not be ready to buy, and you might scare them away, and then you're going to lose that lead forever. So what sales and marketing funnels really enable you to do is to talk to people based on the frame of mind and the stages of mind that they're at in the overall buying cycle, and to then progress them through your sales funnel through a series of kind of conversion and optimization points. And as someone quite wise also once said, expecting a sale from a new prospect is like proposing marriage on the first date. People just might not be ready at that stage, so you've really got to nurture them, you've got to build trust, and you've got to engage with them over time, hence the sales and marketing funnel. So what's a funnel? In a nutshell, this is, I guess, how we've thought about funnels traditionally. It's a guided path that people move through that you've designed for them through your sales process. So they come in cold at the top, i.e. they haven't interacted with your brand, they might never have heard of it before, they might not know what you do. So they come in as cold. You warm them up through, adding value, building trust, etc. I'll go into the tactics in more detail later. With the view that you then turn them into a hot lead, and you then go full pelt with your kind of sales function of the business to converting that customer to a sale. So yeah, just some more stats to kind of substantiate what I'm saying, so you don't think I'm just making this stuff up. HubSpot, I'm sure most of you know HubSpot. It's probably the biggest inbound marketing CRM system on the market. They're massive. And this is actual data. So companies who nurture their leads, so companies actually on the HubSpot platform, see a 450% increase in qualified prospects. Nurtured leads typically make 47% larger purchases than those who haven't been nurtured. And companies who nurture their customers see 50% more revenue at a 33% lower cost. So hands up if you've kind of seen a funnel like this before, if you kind of know this overall. Okay, great, so a few of you. So yeah, just a little bit more detail, breaking down that kind of, don't take photos yet because I'm about to say that this funnel is dead. Great. So this is the traditional method. So this is kind of pre-digital, pre-social media, pre-digital marketing, where it was very much marketing's role to kind of generate leads and generate awareness. And then it was sales' role to kind of lead them through this consideration, intent, evaluation, purchase stage of the funnel. So there was a very, linear funnel. They came in at the top, marketing brought them in, and then sales nurtured them and finished them up at the bottom. A proverbial spanner in the works, the traditional sales funnel is dead. Overarchingly, I'm sure not surprising, digital has really been the main disruptor in this funnel and is the main reason why you really can't look at your funnel in that traditional linear way anymore. So yeah, the buying cycle is no longer linear. Leads, customers, whoever, they can jump in and out of your sales funnel at any given time. They can see a video that you've posted on Facebook. They can Google your product or service and go straight to a sales page. They can submit a lead form but not actually want to buy yet because they've downloaded content. They can jump in and out all over the shop. So what you've got to do is design a funnel that recognizes that and is able to re-engage with customers and understand what their intent is, where they're at in the cycle, and try and progress them down. With this funnel here, most of the funnels that you look at in the traditional sense, they end at purchase. So what my experience is, your funnel should not end at the point of purchase. a really strong statistic here. Acquiring new customer costs 7 times more than retaining an existing customer. So it just goes to show how important it is to focus on retention and to focus on growth of your customers, because if your marketing function and even your sales function is not designed around that with as much priority as bringing new leads in at the top of your funnel, you're just leaving a whole lot of money on the table and you're spending way too much money and not optimizing your growth. And consumers and businesses, obviously in a B2B world, have unparalleled choice and control. So what that means is no longer, well, you know, very much, and from my time at the Urban List, it really told me this as well, unless people, can associate their values with your brand, unless people trust your brand, unless they're getting added value from your brand, products and services, unless they're having real aha, delightful moments with what you're offering them, you're just going to kind of fade away because your competitors are going to be doing everything to the next level. So you really need to have a funnel that really works on building that trust, adding that value. Otherwise, you're just not going to stand a chance of converting customers because you can be damn sure your competitors are doing it. Any questions yet at this stage? No? Great. So how you should design your funnel in 2018. So this is how we think about the funnel at Sidekicker. We call it the customer experience conversion optimization journey. A lot of buzzwords in there, and I know it looks a little bit complicated, so I'm going to break down each stage of this funnel, as we like to call it, and give you an idea about what we do. But essentially what you can see is that we really want to place equal emphasis on getting customers, keeping customers, and growing customers. I guess a key thing this probably makes sense, getting customers and growing customers. What maybe is a little unorthodox, but it's something that we've found really, really valuable at Sidekicker, is breaking out the activation phase of the funnel from your growth phase of the funnel, and realizing that if you've got a new customer that's just converted here, and they've bought their first product, or they've completed whatever your conversion action is at the end of your get customers funnel, you should give them a very, very bespoke experience before you consider them an adopted customer that you then grow. So I'll talk about this in more detail. Question up the back.
What's your pricing model at Sidekicker?
What's our pricing model at Sidekicker?
For context of this.
Sure, so I'll go into that in much more detail in terms of how we think about the customer journey and what the trigger points are at each stage. In terms of, Sidekicker's pricing model is we take a service fee on shifts, hence why shifts completed is our North Star metric. Every time a shift's completed through the platform, the business pays the staff, and we take a service fee on top of that. So I'll go into this in detail, but to just give you context, convert here is one completed shift on the platform, but we don't consider them an adopted customer until they've completed a minimum of 10 shifts through the platform, if that makes sense. Awesome, so any other questions? So what I'll do now is I'll break it down and show you how we think about optimizing each stage of this funnel. Yep. So getting customers. So the getting customers stage of the customer onboarding optimization, I've forgotten what I've even called it, is essentially the traditional funnel where you're attracting, nurturing, and converting customers. The first thing that you should do when you look to set up your get customers funnel is to understand what are the different triggers that you can use to know where your prospective customers are in terms of user intent. So what we do to understand this is we look at different types of content and different actions on our website as levels. So level 1, cold traffic website. This is somebody that it's their first time on the Sidekicker website, and we obviously use things like Google Analytics and our platform data to give us this information. We consider them level 1, which means they don't know who Sidekicker is, and what we do is then use that to inform what's the kind of content that we're going to serve them to push them further down the funnel. And we say if somebody's just hit the website one time and they haven't done anything, they haven't engaged with our content, they haven't gone to deeper page levels than just the first view, we're not going to push them an ad to say, sign up and request staff right now. Because first of all, as I said, they might not be ready, but second of all, we don't know if they're qualified. So we don't know if that's going to be wasted money, spending money on trying to retarget those people. We don't even know if they've got a need. We don't know if they want to hire temp staff. So we only look to send them through to the second stage of the funnel because they're not ready to receive that sales message yet. Does that kind of make sense? Any questions? Level 2, so this is the stage of engagement. This is when somebody's actually starting to engage with our brand, and we really want to look to add value, nurture, and educate those customers to get them to take an action, i.e. fill out a form, give us their details so we can start selling to them. The reason that we break it out into level 2 and level 3, we think about level 2 content in the sense of a blog post or maybe a video on Facebook. So it's a piece of value-driven content that we're looking to put in front of people to get them familiar with our brand, but it's not necessarily explicitly about Sidekicker's products and services. So just to give you an example of this, and again, it all comes back to knowing what the user intent is and therefore the kind of messaging that you should be putting in front of them to send them further down your funnel. So if we look at this example here of a piece of what we consider level 2 content, which is a blog post on the causes of absenteeism. So if somebody's Googling absenteeism, we're coming up first result on Google. SEO is a really strong part of our acquisition into that level 1 stage of the funnel. They click on that link and then they come through to our site. That doesn't indicate to us that that person has a need to hire temp staff. Does that make sense? Versus, if somebody types into AdWords, temp staff Melbourne, they click on a Sidekicker ad and they come through to our level 3 product page view. What that means is although these two people have come through from essentially the same channel, they've both come through from Google, but we can't consider them to be at the same stage of the buying cycle. This person's interested in absenteeism. We don't know if they've got a need for temp staff yet. This person has a need for temp staff. So what that means is what we then do is very different in terms of the next stage and pushing them down the funnel. Somebody that's come onto our level 3 product page view, we'll serve them a direct retargeting ad talking about the Sidekicker product, saying, do you need to hire temp staff? We do it better, faster, easier than ever before. Versus somebody that's come on and read a blog post, we'll retarget them with another really value-driven piece of content. So something about breaks and overtime. Or something else on the blog, and we'll try to get them to come back to site and then eventually click through onto one of our level 3 product pages. So as I showed, the category page, our pricing page, we consider a level 3 product page, our how it works page. So any page that anybody's actually clicked through to say, I'm actually interested in learning about how Sidekicker can service me, what they can sell to me, and then we progress them through to try and get them to take, I've skipped ahead, to get them to take action, which is in the form of a form. Question?
I really want to concentrate on this. Will we get access to this afterwards?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. So it's all just about understanding the user intent, and that then informs the type of content, the type of channels, the type of advertising that you're going to serve.
And then do you measure how long do you spend on the website?
We measure bounce rate.
Yeah.
We measure less on our marketing website time on page, just because I find that Google Analytics, if somebody comes through and reads one article and then bounces, it's more of an indication to us that they're not quite interested in learning more about, they're not progressing to that level 3 product page. The time on page metric, because it only captures time on page once somebody's clicked through. Like Google Analytics can't capture time on page if somebody's bouncing. So it's just not, we just don't use it so much as a metric. We use it a lot at the Urban List, less so at Sidekicker, because as I said, it's just all about progressing people down that funnel. Whereas at the Urban List, what we were trying to sell was people viewing content to brands. So it depends on what your end conversion is, really. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I guess the next stage of setting up your funnel, arguably the most important is understanding and setting up your conversion rates. So Google Analytics is a really good place to set up this funnel. You can build out all of these funnels in Google Analytics. I can send through some, when we make these, this deck available to you, you can send through some really good resources on how to set up funnels in Analytics for any of you who are looking to do it yourself and don't know. But basically, kind of what this graph represents is if somebody's coming through to your website, you've got a page view on your website and you know, okay, I've got 10,000 people coming onto my website. Of those 10,000 people, 230 of them are converting, whatever your conversion at this stage is, right? And you say, all right, my conversion rate's 2.3%. That's kind of all well and good, but it doesn't enable you to really optimize this with any level of certainty. You need to use conversion rates at each stage of this funnel to understand actually how you're performing and progressing leads through. So this is when it gets a little bit complicated and we start talking about funnels within funnels. Have I lost anybody? Are you all still with me? So just remember, keep this in your mind and let me show you a real world example of what I mean. So within this funnel, we've got a website funnel, right? And we want to understand within that website funnel, how are each of our assets, how are each of our level 2 pieces of content, level 3, etc., converting our customers, converting our prospective customers through to the next stage. So as I said before, here are 3 examples of what we consider level 3 product pages. Our hospitality staffing page, how it works, our pricing page. When you break out your funnel and you understand how each of your assets within it are converting, you can identify leaks, right? So let's say our hospitality page and our how it works page are converting to the next stage, i.e. somebody giving us their details so we can start actively selling to them, are converting at 14 and 19%, and our pricing page is at 4%. What that allows us to do is say something's not working on our pricing page. Then we get together as a marketing team. We're very much a test and learn marketing team, and we use experimentation and data to guide what's working. We never use our gut feel, we always use data. And having your funnel broken out like this enables you to do that. So what we did, we got together and we said, what are a few things that we can try? What are some of our assumptions that we're going to make about what's wrong with our pricing page? And we kind of said, look, our pricing, it sometimes can seem a little bit complicated, maybe makes sense to us, but we know our business intimately and inside and out. What can we do to try and simplify some of the messaging on this page? We tested a bunch of things. One of the things that we tested was putting a really quick 30-second video of one of the girls on our team. She's got a lovely smile, she's all sweet and bubbly, so she works well. And just simply in 30 seconds saying, here's what our pricing is at Sidekicker. We then saw the uplift on that page of conversion rate from 4% to 10%. A few of the other experiments we'd tried didn't do anything. So you get rid of that, you test, you learn, you change. And so we had that video on our pricing page and saw an increase of conversions, and then that lifted that small part of the funnel up, only 6% from that one page. But what you can do is, as you start to fill all of these little leaks, eventually they add up to you starting to move the needle on your overall conversion rate for the entire funnel. Any questions? I'm never going to be able to say the word funnel again after this presentation. Yeah.
How are you, just sort of basic overview, how are you tracking the conversion rate between the funnel within a funnel? Is that just
we use Google Analytics. Goals in Google Analytics, yeah. So we'll have all of we use content groupings to map to distinguish the levels. So we'll have all of our blog posts sitting there as a content view in Google Analytics. We'll have all of our product pages sitting as a content view, and then you can filter to view that content view only, and then you can see conversion rates to your different goals. So when you fill out this form, you go through to a thank you page, which we've got a goal event cookie set up on. And yeah, so we can see the direct conversion of each page. Does it make sense? Cool. And so just a kind of second example about how we see this working at Sidekicker. As I said, you've looked at this whole funnel, one big funnel, but then within that we've got an onboarding funnel. So what that means, every time somebody signs up to Sidekicker, you fill out the you fill out the sign-up form. Because we are such a, there's only so many businesses that we can service. Our main marketplaces are hospitality, business admin, promotions, events. If you're a mining company and you need a head miner, if that's a thing, we can't service that. So if you come onto Sidekicker, you say, yep, the platform was open up until about a year ago, but we just can't service you. So it impacts on our kind of customer support and all of that if we've got these random people that aren't actually serviceable coming through and posting jobs. So hence we have this qualification stage in our funnel where we have to talk to everybody on the phone before they're actually able to post a job on the platform. So in our onboarding funnel, we've got sign up, phone call, they then qualify, sell, onboard, and then activate. That business has to then post a job, and then they have to complete a job. Only when they've completed a job, i.e. they've hired and worked with a sidekick for a shift and they've made payment, that's the stage that they become they make that initial customer conversion. So let's say we've got a 40% conversion rate from 400 signups to only 196 people actually becoming customers. If we just look at that 40% conversion rate, we can't really do anything because we don't know what's happening. We don't know why all of those people are dropping off, and we just kind of don't know what to do. When we break down this funnel within the funnel, one of the things that we found was that 19% of people that signed up were uncontactable. We use Salesforce as our CRM, so if somebody's closed, there's a reason code as to why they're closed. So we were able to pull that data and see that, yep, 19% were uncontactable via phone call, which means we were losing 75, let's say 400 sign up, we're losing 75 leads. So it's a significant number of leads just because we can't get onto somebody on the phone, right? And they've signed up, they want to use us and we can't get onto them on the phone. We're losing 75 leads. What can we do about this? So again, we experiment, test, learn. We got together and we said, what are some things that we can test? One of the things that our hypothesis was that it's 2018, we've got this really fancy funnel, maybe people don't want to talk to us on the phone. So what can we do? What other options can we give to people that might be more in line with how they want to be onboarded to a platform? Maybe they just, I don't want to talk to anyone on the phone, I want to do it on an app, I want to do it on a computer. If somebody tries to call me, I'm not interested. So we said, what about live chat? Let's test live chat and let's see what happens if we allow customers to be onboarded via live chat. That resulted in only 5% of leads being uncontactable, so reducing that leakage from 75 to 20, which increased our overall conversion rate in our onboarding funnel to 49%. And I haven't updated the 196, but it's more. So yeah, just another example about how important it is to, you've got your overarching funnel, but to really understand what happens at every single stage, what's every single action that my customer has to go through to get to that conversion, and how am I capturing the data to know when and why they're dropping off, and then optimizing test and learn through data. Yep.
Sorry, do you use marketing automation at all within the
Yes. Yeah, so I actually don't go into email in any detail, but we absolutely do use Pardot. Yes, absolutely. So we use Pardot and Intercom. So Pardot is the email marketing automation software of Salesforce. Is any Pardot users? Yeah, okay. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend Pardot. HubSpot is fantastic, and HubSpot is free until you reach a certain customer threshold. So I would highly recommend HubSpot. If you're doing customer support and if you're trying to use kind of bots on your website to capture leads, Intercom is fantastic. And Intercom is also free until you reach a customer threshold. So yeah, it kind of depends. We use HubSpot for all of our kind of growth and re-engagement. Pardot, sorry, for all of our growth and re-engagement, and we use Intercom for our customer support. It's kind of a, whatever suits you best, but HubSpot definitely from an email automation standpoint. Yep.
Just sorry, a couple of quick questions.
Yep.
So with email automation, then do you also try to contact them via email?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we, as part of this funnel, if somebody signs up and we can't contact them, they go into an email nurture flow, which is kind of a 5 email series, which is combined also with sales follow-up calls. So yeah, we absolutely have an email re-engagement funnel here. We've got email re-engagement funnels for churned customers, stale leads. We've got we've got all kinds of email marketing running.
Second question.
Yep.
The sign-up stage.
Yep.
Where you collect the lead capture information. Is that the transition between the website funnel stage and the onboarding funnel? Is that where the...
Yeah, although it's kind of essentially, yeah. So essentially, this is just a type of website page. This is a bit confusing if you don't know, but we have lead capture forms on the website. Our sign up form is kind of the get started, I'm signing up. This is I want to learn more contact form. So whilst they're still leads and we've captured their details, we just consider them at different stages of the buying. So everybody that fills out a contact form will have to sign up in order to then post a job and convert. Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah. So yeah, between the website funnel, they've either completed a contact form and then signed up, or they've just directly signed up in the sign up form. Yep.
So with that flow you were talking about for the businesses, do you go through that same flow with the people who are looking for work, or is it just...
No. So I should have kind of prefaced this by saying Sidekicker, we're a two-sided marketplace. So we've obviously got the staff that work on the platform, and we've got the businesses that hire those staff. I don't know, has anybody had any kind of experience with two-sided marketplaces? Yeah, well then we can chat later about the joys of two-sided marketplaces. But as a business, at the moment, we are demand constrained, i.e. we have no problem getting sidekicks to come and sign up and work on the platform. Not no problem, but it's not the growth focus for us at the moment. And the barriers to entry for them, there's a lot of young people that want flexible work. They tell their friends about it. It's free for them to sign up and come in and do an onboarding for Sidekicker, whereas obviously the business, like you're asking them to make a transaction essentially. So our marketing and this whole design is 100% B2B business focused. But yeah, so the other side is kind of separate. Yep.
And how long did you run your experiment?
So pretty quickly, but it also depends. You can run, if you have, let's say you've got, 10 people completing a form within 2 weeks. If you run a test for 2 weeks and you're A/B testing a form with only 10 people completing it, you're not going to get any meaningful data on that. So it just depends on, I guess, your volume in terms of how long you run it. I would look at it less in terms of time duration and more in terms of volume and what's the number that you need to achieve in order to actually understand, if 10% of 10 is not material, but 10% of 200 may be material. Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And when you run A/B testing, do you run in parallel with 2 versions, or you run one version first for 1 week and then different version for...
Sure, it depends what the test is. So like if let's say on the pricing page, we were like, I wonder if reducing the number of fields in our form would better convert people landing on that page. We would just run an A/B test on that form, and like we'd have that going at the same time, and we'd use our A/B. We use Optimisely to run A/B tests, so we'd obviously have that running. Versus, with like some of the other experiments we conducted in the onboarding funnel, we said, can we increase this by having somebody doing it over the weekend? Because we don't onboard over the weekend. And we said, what impact will that have on lifting conversion rates if people are able to call us on the weekend for sign up versus customer support we've got on the weekend? But obviously we can't run that in parallel with the live chat because it's not then a true A/B test because you're kind of running 2 things side by side. Does that make sense? Was there a question? Yep.
Is the source of the lead from the organic reach of the content?
Is the source of the lead for the...
So the leads come in, he's found the content, you've basically targeted some keywords on the article,
yep.
And that's where the leads come from because Google will search you that lead.
So our leads come through from a whole bunch of different channels. Google organic search is one of our bigger ones. Google AdWords is one of our bigger ones. Also partnerships are really a big channel for us in terms of lead acquisition. But yeah, so we've got a bunch of different channels, and that would be kind of a whole nother talk on how to actually generate leads, which I'd be more than happy to do if you want to invite me back. But does that answer your question? All right, I'm probably like, am I running short on time? How long?
Maybe we'll keep the questions a little bit.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. All good.
I'll whip through these next. Well, not whip, but so yeah, that's how we think about our get customer funnel. And as you can see, like, you know, there's a whole lot of depth, and like you could do talks on every different stage of that funnel, right? Like it's really in depth, but hopefully just this architecture helps you then go away and flesh out what yours would look like. As I said before, we separate out this activation funnel. I think it's really, really important not to treat your new customers the same way that you treat your customers that have been around for months or have, you know, made however many purchases. You know, I use the example of if you use an Uber one time and then you never use an Uber again, are you a customer? Would Uber be sitting there saying, oh, great, we acquired this customer, tick, let's chuck that on our metrics board, great. If you're Topshop and someone comes and buys one pair of jeans from you for $20 and then they never shop at you again, like from a Topshop marketing and growth standpoint, are you a customer? Are you converted? I think, well, at least at Sidekicker, no. So hence, thinking about this as the end goal, and great, we've done it, tick marketing, I think is remiss, and I think you're leaving a lot of growth on the table, and I think you're not considering the fact that these are new customers and you need to really give them a bespoke experience. So what I mean by that, at Sidekicker, we don't consider somebody an adopted customer until they've completed 10 shifts on the platform. So what we do for your first, third, fifth, 10th completed jobs, we give you a really customized experience from a marketing, sales, account management, and customer support standpoint. We actually have, who's just started with us recently, someone working full time on managing just the first posts of all of our new customers to really make sure that they're having an amazing experience. So we think it's so important at that stage of the funnel to really help your customers use your product and understand your product and get the most out of their first experience with your product. We've dedicated a full-time resource to helping them do that. We obviously, you know, layer on a lot of marketing, product emails, videos, our help center, all of that on top of that. Because just if your customer completes a transaction with you, but they have a kind of shitty experience, they're not going to come back, right? So yeah, really understanding, like, when is it, use data to help you understand of all the customers that have spent, like your top spending customers, at what point do those percentage of customers become a customer, right? So use data to help inform it as well. Don't just pick a random number and say, oh, well, once they've made 5 purchases, they're a customer. Use data to understand what's the tipping point for all of your highest spending customers. And then design your activation funnel to fit, right? So yeah, as I said, we kind of do a whole bunch of things at each of these different stages to help them reach this stage. And we use data to inform, you know, if lots of people are dropping off after their first complete, what are the reasons for that? And let's use data to understand, are they from a certain industry? Are they hiring a certain type of staff member? Have they come in through a certain channel? And does that channel bring us not profitable customers? And then use that to inform, well, if they're having, you know, issues with this product feature or whatnot, what kind of content can we then serve them? What kind of marketing can we do with them? What kind of support can we offer them to help overcome those common pain points? Yeah, I'll kind of skip through it, but just an example. We've got a lot of features on the platform, and what we found was that customers who had completed their first shift and were trying to create job templates, which is basically just, you know, kind of saving a job that you can then easily repost, they were churning. So what we realized was they probably don't want to create a template when they've only posted one job. Like, they're not quite ready to learn about templates and to understand about templates. Let's not bombard them. Let's restrict that feature Let's not talk to them about it until we think that they're ready to start learning about templates, because we don't want to scare them away. You just want them to have an awesome first experience. Any questions? Oh, sorry, no questions. All right, I'm almost done. So grow customers. So that stat from the start, it costs you 7 times more to acquire new customers than grow existing customers. The growth funnel is, I said this about a couple of other parts of the funnel, but is the most important part of your funnel, because retaining and growing your adopted customers, the customers that love you, the customers that use your product right, is absolutely crucial and will be much more cost effective than just constantly trying to fill the top of your funnel, So we think about it in terms of upselling, so increasing their spend, increasing their frequency of purchase. For us, it's increasing the number of shifts that they're posting and fulfilling through the platform each month. For you, it might be increasing the frequency at which they buy jeans from your website, or maybe you've got a pro and an enterprise agreement, so maybe it's upselling them to the higher level agreement or service or offering. Cross-sell, so what other products can you be offering your adopted customers? For us, as I said, we've got multiple categories that we provide staff in, multiple industries. So, YouFoods, for example, we provided them with a lot of customer support, business admin staff. We recognized the opportunity to provide them with chefs, and so we then cross-sold them rather, and grew them into hiring chefs through the platform. Advocacy and referrals. So just some examples of things that have worked really well at Sidekicker. I put these up here to not, to not understate the importance of some of the traditional methods of marketing as well. I talk about digital and traditional stuff is dead, but I cannot understate there are a lot of traditional marketing tactics that still are super, super effective. I think especially in the B2B world when it comes to growing customers. At the end of the day, it's relationship management and you're talking to people, even if you're selling to businesses. So, we invest a lot in account management, customer support, events, and email marketing. I think email marketing is going through a bit of a renaissance. We use email marketing a lot to great effect. And pricing incentives as well. So how can you get your customers to spend more by giving them a little, whether it be giving them a reduced service fee or a bonus, a discount, what have you. So the viral loop, in this growth funnel as well, I think it's really important to get the most out of those customers from a spend standpoint, but also to get the most out of those customers from a helping you acquire new customers right at the top of your get customers funnel. The 2 key parts of doing this effectively, it's really pretty simple. 1, ask at the right moment. If your customers had a crap experience, don't ask them for a referral. When your customers had a great experience, ask them for a referral. So understand the data and understand the moments that your customers are having those kind of aha, delightful moments. That's the moment at which you ask them for a referral and make it really easy for them. So just an example from Sidekicker, we use NPS to measure our customer satisfaction on a number of levels. We send them out an email survey. Anytime a customer gives us a 10 in their NPS survey, they then are immediately followed up with a message saying, awesome, so glad you love us, will you leave us a review on Google? And we make it really easy for them. And make your system rewarding. Money, discounts, whatever your customer values, try and offer them something rewarding to incentivize a referral. One final thing on the, what's it called? The customer optimization conversion journey experience. The data loop. So make sure every person that you're attracting here replicates the people over here. You really want to understand what was the journey that all of your most profitable, most adopted customers, what did that journey look like? Reverse engineer your funnel to mirror that journey. So your best customers how did you get them to be your best customers, and really use that data as a constant feedback loop to help optimize your funnel for those customers. If you are bringing in leads, and as I said, you're converting them here and you're celebrating, but they're actually not profitable, and they're not spending, and they're not repeat customers, and they're not using your product or service the way that you want them to use your product or service, don't exhaust all of your energy just filling this as fast as you possibly can, because it's not going to help you scale for the long term. So to summarize, why you need a customer experience conversion optimization journey: nurture. You need to add value. You need to develop trust. You need to not lose customers. Just because they're not ready to buy, it doesn't mean that you can't convert them eventually. So you really need to nurture those customers. Grow, activation, adoption, really making sure that retention and growth is at the top of your mind as part of your funnel, and thinking about it in that 360 view, and understand, know who your best customers are, and design your funnel to acquire, keep, and grow more of them. And that's it.
Are you answering questions or not?
Yeah, questions? Yeah, are we doing questions?
Yes, absolutely. I'm just going to bring the stool for you to sit that.
I've got three.
Great.
So the first was obviously Seek invested in you guys.
Yep.
A great platform to get leads. To use that, are they partnering with you in any form?
No, not from a business standpoint. We do a lot of staff looking for work are referred through from Seek ads, but no, not from a business standpoint. Because it's a very different proposition, right? Like, people are posting jobs on Seek for full-time employment and full-time recruitment. Sidekicker, we're not in the recruitment game, we're in the temp staffing game. So yeah, very different kind of user cases from a business standpoint. Obviously less so from the worker standpoint, because they're looking for work either on Seek or Sidekicker.
And the second question, what's your biggest challenge?
What is my biggest challenge? Data. Systems and data and reporting. So, as I've kind of talked about, it's taken us a while, and we're in a good place from a system standpoint, but in order for your funnel to really work, like, you do need to know how different things are converting and how different things are performing. You need to be able to segment your customers to know, how many of them have completed their first post, and how do we engage with them. So making sure that, we've got our customer segmentation in all of our different systems talking to each other. I think that's the biggest thing, for us as well, because we're an online platform, but we've got this huge offline thing that's our actual product, i.e. staff showing up at a business and working and doing a great job. And so how we kind of match that through to our platform, to then our marketing website, to then our CRM, to then our email software, so just kind of mapping all of those dots, and yeah, so systems and data. But I think like HubSpot is an awesome tool to help you get started, as is Google Analytics. So yeah.
And just to build on that question, I'm just going to come out of the woods.
Do I sit? Okay.
Sure, go for it. When it comes to reporting, is there like an area of the reporting that you guys have a lot of, you have a challenge to look at? Because it's quite a big funnel.
Yeah.
Is there one area that you see that, look, we have very little transparency on this section?
Yes, actually, source tracking.
Right. Okay. So where did they come from?
Source tracking, yeah. So for us as well, the number one challenge up until recently was our marketing website exists on a different domain to our product. So our marketing website, www.sidekicker.com.au, is what people will come through, or .co.nz. But our actual platform is getsidekicker.com, and the reason for that is privacy, largely. But tracking source onto the marketing website through to the platform, through to the moment they actually complete a shift with a Sidekick,
Those are not connected.
They are now.
No,
They are now, yes. Which took a growth engineer. But yeah, I don't think, like, it's a very complicated beast at Sidekicker.
Do you experiment much with pure copy changes to different parts of the funnel? Not really. Not really, just because the volumes at the urban list, yes, because we would have 2.5 million people coming onto the website every month. Sidekicker, from a business standpoint and a user acquisition on the business side, the volume isn't big enough to warrant copy-based optimization tests. Our tests are typically a bit bigger. Yeah, does that? Not to say, like, I think. Would they have to be, do you think? How much traffic before you think it's relevant?
I think also it depends on, like, what's that copy doing, and again on. I can't sleep, but say the pricing page, for example, that's got, you know, one goal to get somebody to fill out that form, and so, you know, the copy on that page in terms of compelling somebody to complete that form is important. So in that sense, yes, we would look to change the copy and say, can we make tweaks in this copy to get this to get someone to fill out the form? But when it comes to, I guess, like the job posting process and all of that, copy is kind of the least of our worries. We're just trying to make sure that the Sidekick turns up and that they're awesome. And does that kind of make sense? But yeah, contextually, especially in website optimization, yeah, definitely. Yep.
When you obviously at the beginning of your journey, you obviously went into the business and set up some funnels.
Yep.
So how much did you sort of leverage the earlier customer experience and journey to design those funnels? So when you set the first ones up, did you use them at all? Was it that data? Or?
It's been, yes, but it's gotten more and more sophisticated as we've got our tracking and analytics set up. So I think, you know, Sidekicker was kind of 4 years old when I entered the business.
Did you actually use any of that data from before? Definitely. And we kind of did, like, do not go in blind and build a funnel based on nothing. Use what you have and do as best a job as you can with data first. And then if you need to fill some gaps by making some assumptions, go nuts. But yeah, absolutely, would always use data. And then as we get, as our data becomes more hygienic and we get a better understanding, then we just make it better and better based on data. Yep.
Thanks. So you just mentioned that you have a completely separate site for your marketing funnel as opposed to your main site. So I'm assuming the main site's your platform, so to speak. That's where they create their profiles and get engaged in that way. So what you see on Sidekicker main site is just information. Yep. And then your marketing platform then is completely all around the lead pages. Yep. That's brilliant.
Is it?
Oh, well,
it's complicated. Thank you. Yeah, it's complicated. And yeah, if you want to chat afterwards, because if you're on a two-sided marketplace as well, I'm happy to. But yeah, so we use analytics. We use Google Analytics for the marketing website. Yeah. All of our system data is in our system, and we use another real-time data platform called Periscope to understand so we've kind of got Google Analytics for marketing, and then we've got all of our actual customer data, but they talk to each other as well. So we've got those goals set up in Google Analytics. So as I said, we don't ever want to have the funnel separated in terms of the data. So yeah, but as I said before, like that's the biggest challenge has been systems and data and setting all of that up, because it's complicated. And then we've got the Australian side and the New Zealand side, and it's just.
So you can do separate marketing sites for those countries as well?
We do have separate marketing sites for Australia and New Zealand. If anybody is like in a similar, we want to move to a .com and have geo-targeted content. Right. Our New Zealand team, are there any Kiwis here? One. Well, our Kiwi team is very much like, we need our own website, we're New Zealand. And I'm like, this is a nightmare. But I think, I would recommend a .com and having geo-targeted content because we have two separate Google Analytics setups. We have to replicate everything. We have to publish blog posts twice.
So yeah, I would steer away from having separate geo sites, but from a privacy standpoint, if you're collecting a lot of data, it's good to have that separated. Yep.
I've got two quick questions. One is on NPS.
Yep.
And the other is on lead magnets.
Yep.
NPS, can I just say I'm delighted to see NPS being used in the referral space. It's something I've been trying to do myself.
Yep.
Sorry, can you just, what does that stand for? That acronym?
Net Promoter Score.
Thank you.
So it's basically a way, it works on this, yeah,
I
cool.
just wasn't sure of I thought it was M or N.
And yeah, Net Promoter Score, which basically takes out your passives and takes into consideration people that are detractors and, what is it? Promoters, of course. Yeah, so 9s and 10s, so you kind of weed out that middle ground that don't really.
So, but as opposed to active referral,
yep.
incentivizing them for referral, and I could be wrong here, they're obviously leaving a review, so they're not actually actively referring someone.
Yep.
So is that happening, or is it just
yep.
still the review stage that they are?
So we do both, because for us, Google reviews, if you're typing in temp stuff Melbourne and you're a local business, seeing those Google reviews, it's really powerful. So it helps us convert those people through that channel really effectively. And we do that as well as ask for direct referrals. But yeah, for us, it's really important to have those Google reviews. So it's kind of equally as important as getting direct referrals. Yeah, hence why we've got that Ask Nicely flow. NPS flow. So we use a system called Ask Nicely, and you can trigger actions based on what they're scoring you in the Ask Nicely system. So yeah, if they give you a 1, if they give you a 5, we also, if they give us a 1, we then follow that up with a flow to understand why did they give us a 1? Can we get that customer back on board? Can we get them liking us? Why did they give us a 1? Do we need to make any changes or updates to our product? So
with the lead magnets,
yep.
Typically in the funnels that I've created and the ones I've seen as well, the lead magnet stage comes up really high in the funnel, really early.
Yep.
You opt in and the leads captured. So it's really interesting to see that for you guys it's a bit later down and you spend a lot of time investing in nurturing.
Yeah. Yep.
So what lead magnets do you give? Do you use ebooks or what kind of?
We've got a couple. We haven't found lead magnets to be super effective for us because hospitality, what we've found is that if you're a staffing manager, a food and beverage manager, you don't read ebooks. And so when I first started at Sidekicker, I was like, this is great, we're gonna make ebooks, because coming from the urban list where we were selling to media buyers and marketers, I love a good ebook and this is going to be great. I'm going to make all these ebooks. I'm going to get all these leads. And yeah, I think what we found was that in our main marketplace, which is hospitality, ebooks just aren't something that's part of their user. But we certainly tested. We had a lot of ebooks. We spent money on testing them and we found it didn't work. So we moved on to the next thing, which I think is really important. Use that data to kind of move on, implement or move on if it's working or if it's not working.
Question there.
Do you measure the experience between the business to the employee, for example, or just?
Yep. So one of the I guess one of our biggest selling points on Sidekicker is that we have a two-way rating and review system similar to Uber. So for businesses, in contrast to traditional temp staffing, where they kind of call up a temp agency or send an email and then not have any visibility over who was actually going to turn up until the day. Every time a business completes a shift with a Sidekick, they rate and review that Sidekick, and vice versa, the Sidekick reviews the business. So then when that Sidekick's applying for future shifts, that future hirer is able to see their 5-star rating or their rating out of 5, and reviews from all the previous businesses they've worked with before through Sidekicker. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I've got a quick question, Jess. There were a couple of questions, around lead magnets, around, testing copy. How do you go about when and you talked about, you go through experimentation, you guys do a lot of experimentation, mainly dependent on the results that you get and not really maybe sprints or, time-based experiments. What is the process like at Sidekicker when the team is sitting down and saying, look, we're going to be testing A, B, C, and D,
yep.
right? How does that brainstorming work? And then later on, how do you prioritize and how do you say this is what we're gonna do first, and this is second, and this is third? Is there a process at Sidekicker?
Yeah, that's a good question. It depends in terms of how the brainstorming happens. It depends on, I guess, the number of touch points that the experiment will have. So I guess what I mean by that is that pricing page. The marketing team owns the marketing website. You know, the product team. We've got a growth engineer that sits across both, but the product team, like, it doesn't impact how people are using our platform. You know, we can work with WordPress, we work with lead pages, we work with optimise. So it'll just be kind of a few of us in the marketing team sitting down and saying, let's do this. Okay, sweet, let's do it this afternoon. Off we go. Happy days. If it's a test that, like, actually changes the user flow of our product and it's going to touch customer support, it's going to touch product, it's going to touch sales, then yeah, I guess all the stakeholders need to be in the room, and it's just a more, yeah, it really depends. In terms of how I would recommend setting up the process, yeah, it's really case by case, but I would just encourage you to move as fast as you possibly can, but getting kind of quantifiable material data. So those two things hand in hand, I suppose. And not being tied. I think it's really important if you're going to, especially if you've got a team, if you're going to nail experimentation and test and learn philosophy, you have to not be wedded to your ideas. And you have to be really able and okay with going, that wasn't a good idea, it was my idea and it was crap, and let's move on. So I think that's really important as well. Yep.
Have you noticed your organic search, if you took out your spend
yep.
and your pay-per-click,
yep.
has your organic search gone up by virtue of your conversion funnel being better?
I don't know. We wouldn't stop our AdWords spend. Our organic has increased significantly over the last year. I would attribute that to our content strategy. And to, yeah, like, we do a lot of, as I kind of showed before, it's quite a different user intent for us with our SEO strategy. We're focused on, in the sectors that we operate, what kind of things are people searching for? So with hospitality, there's a lot of people searching for information around awards rates and overtime because it's really confusing. So we've, like, built out a whole content strategy on what blog posts are we going to write to rank for search terms around awards rates and overtime, and that then lifts our overall SEO rankings relevant to those keywords. Yeah, but our AdWords cost per acquisition has certainly gone down as we've better optimized for, yeah, more likely to convert customers.
So, and that, in that particular wage thing, that narrative is quite long. So if do you build that all the way to the end? Do you basically set up 20, 30 pieces of
yep.
content?
Yep. So we'll say, here's the topic, and then underneath the topic, there'll be 100 keywords. And then we'll say, all right, what content are we writing to target these 100 keywords? And they'll all layer up to support each other in that overarching topic.
And across time, obviously. So
yeah.
So that's basically
exactly. Yep. Yep.
So in terms of your your blog content,
yep.
what average amount of words would you recommend? And what's the actual read rate in terms of
yep.
what people saying on the page? I guess is probably the only.
It totally depends. This is a bad answer, but it totally depends on your customer and on your user. Yeah. So, you know, at the Urban List, it was really short. Listicle content, after, you know, years of experimentation and optimization, listicle content, hardly any words on the page, performed the best. At Sidekicker, it's probably between kind of 700 to 1,400 words, depending on the subject. But yeah, yeah, exactly. But but as I said, like, test because it is really dependent on your user,
and it's dependent on what their pain points are, what information they want to learn, and then I guess, yeah, the best way that you're going to disseminate that information. So it really depends. So like Urban List, people want a list of 10 cafes to go to in Melbourne. Sidekicker, hospitality businesses want to understand the awards rates. There are like, how many awards rates? 100? Yeah. Like, there's so many awards rates. It's so complicated. So yeah, it's got to be longer because that's what they.
So your content strategy is aimed at the businesses only, not at the.
At the moment, yeah. Okay. At the moment, that will change though.
Is that on your marketing platform or is it on the main?
Marketing platform, yeah. Right. Our blog, yeah.
All right, let's just get one last question. Go for it.
Kind of almost a twofold question. The first is, at the end of your presentation, you spoke about the need to fill the top of your funnel with those who look like your best customers.
Yep.
How do you activate on lookalike audiences out there in the wild?
How do we activate on lookalike audiences out there in the wild? What do you mean by activate?
So you know what your best customers
look
like.
Yep.
How do you find more of them?
Sure. For us, our best customers, so we kind of have a bit of an 80-20, you know, as lots of businesses do. 80% of our revenue is made up by 20% of our customers because you know, we can only service a certain number of businesses. We've just, in the last couple of months, been through a big process of manually market mapping. And going after those customers direct, i.e. direct email campaigns, direct call campaigns. So we basically said, you know, caterers, right? They're one of our biggest target customers. Our top 10 spending caterers, what common attributes do they have? So we said, all right, well, all of these caterers that are in our top 100 spending customers have a minimum of 1 venue and a minimum of 10 full-time employees. We then go out and we say, what are all the caterers? And it's not that big of a market, right? So it depends how big your market is, but we said, what are all the caterers that have those attributes? We get a list, and then we're working through that from a direct standpoint. From a marketing standpoint, we do a bunch of things. Like we obviously use Facebook lookalike audiences. We've experimented with some kind of outreach and ad roll, like native content distribution. But I think, like, you know, building lookalike audiences is important, but it's more understanding what was the journey that they took, and how do we create that journey and replicate that journey. Yeah, and you know, we use Facebook, we use all those different platforms to kind of do different targeting based on those attributes.
Last one, what role does LinkedIn play in your world, if any?
Yeah, so we've experimented with doing a bunch of different paid campaigns on LinkedIn. We've found it to be, I guess, just too costly for not enough reward. However, we've seen great reward in using LinkedIn for just publishing, publishing organic content. So every time we write a blog post, we'll publish it across a bunch of different channels, LinkedIn being one of them. We, as a marketing team, we get every single person in the growth function, so all of the sales staff, all of the general managers, to share content on their own personal LinkedIns. So we do a lot of more like PR, business and branding through organic channels on LinkedIn, which we've got a lot of engagement on, and we're starting to see some traction from an inbound lead standpoint. Just find their actual paid lead gen very expensive. Okay. But again, it would depend on your market. So, yeah.
That's good. We have gone over time.
Sorry.
So, one last question. Please go ahead.
Are your copywriters in-house or outsourced?
In-house, yeah. So, I write copy. We all write copy in-house.
Sounds good. Now, it sounds like you guys you're definitely looking at ABM and account base with some of the catering stuff that you were talking about, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a new field that is entering Australia.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of account-based marketing. All the traditional forms of marketing are certainly not dead. Yeah. So.
Fantastic. All right, if you go to yes, please go for it.
Thanks.